All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for logging on tonight. Up to looks like we got about 101 people on here, so we got a nice crew shaping up. You got myself and Coach Bice and Coach Pfister, and I think Coach Jasinski will be logging on here shortly. Got some really cool offensive clips to review today and talk through. Mentioned this a little earlier in the chat, but if you guys want to click on that little chat button and post some questions as we're going through this, feel free to fire them up there, and we'll be sure to get to those and answer them as the night unfolds here. But what I got for you today, can you see my screen, Greg? Or no?
I'm sending Jack an email right now. Ask Tyler.
You can't see my screen, can you?
I am looking at all the participants right now. I can't see
right.
the screen.
Vice, what do I got to do to flip it to? Oh, there we go. Share screen. All right, there we go. You guys see that now?
Yep. Now you're loaded.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. All right, guys. So some of the clips that we had today, I pulled some really good clips from the PLL championship game. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen this game, but I was reviewing the highlights and I found some really good ones here. Really a lot of two-man games, so there's a lot of picks and a lot of different action here that I think is worth kind of talking about, especially a follow-up to Coach Neek and Coach Bice's talk last night for you guys that were on there. So if you guys remember, it was a really good game. I think it was actually an overtime game, kind of down to the wire. So we're going to look at some of these goals and look at how some of these mistakes defensively ended up costing the team, at the end here. So the first one is there's just a little pick play here, and the defense has zero talk, which is great. And this is just a great example to show you guys how difficult you make things for the defense when you actually set a pick. So I'm going to let it roll here. Turn that off. So right here, this is a goal that they had, and they're going to show it again in slow motion so you can actually see this unfold a little bit. But Kavanaugh, he's a fast player. He gets this defenseman hung up. The defense here, right here, they don't call switch, right? So I'm not sure if there was no communication here, but this is just great, right? He comes out, he sets a great pick, gets his feet set. He's right on his backside. He kind of snuck in behind him. And then when these guys don't communicate, watch Kavanaugh, how he's able to just sneak right through here. Boom. He gets his hands free, comes around top side, obviously makes a great individual play here to finish it. But at the same time, just a really, really nice job of using that pick and then coming off that pick with a burst of speed and going right to the goal. So I'll show this to you one more time here. And this low wing area is just such a dangerous place if you guys attack this and play it the right way. So right here, just sets a nice pick, boom, little change of speed, comes around top side again, obviously making a great play, probably a penalty there and putting it home. Coach Pfister, you got anything you want to add to this one?
Yeah, I think just looking at Kavanaugh especially, right? You touched on it a little bit. He's one of the best in the world, just knowing, because I've played against him, of that change of speed, right? You don't see him, going into that pick 100 miles an hour, right? Which makes it a lot harder on that defensive guy because he doesn't know when that burst of speed is going to come, right? He just happens to accelerate right at the pick, right? And he doesn't know, exactly when to get through. And like Coach Kelly said, probably a lack of communication there too. But right, if he runs at one speed the entire time, it's much easier to defend than if there's that change of speed throughout that pick as well.
Coach Bice, you got anything you want to throw in there?
No, I mean, obviously from the defensive side, we talked about this yesterday, or I guess we did on the BSN call a couple weeks ago, and we'll get into it. But on the two-man game, we prefer just to switch, especially at this level, where you're going to come out and get a jump switch if possible to run these guys off their line. Because like you said, if you don't communicate, and these guys are so good at changing speed, that all they need is, what does he get? A foot, and that's all he needs to score a goal here.
Yeah, it's a great point. So I know we have a lot of middies on this call. If you watch right here where my mouse is, the Whip Snakes midfielder, he needs to jump out and jump switch that. So you guys that play box for us understand that terminology. He needs to jump off this man and basically step in front of Kavanaugh here when he gets his burst. Right here, he needs to be stepping out to cut Kavanaugh off. But because he doesn't switch it, boom, that opens it up. But again, I get just a prime example of just showing you when you pick that other defenseman, you force them to communicate, you force them to talk, you take them out of their comfort zone, and good things are going to happen offensively. So just a really good example there. Kind of fast forwarding here, his goal was pretty quick afterwards. This is probably my favorite play of the game right here. I was watching this, and I had to watch it a couple times, and I was laughing. If you look at this right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys directly in front of the goal and directly in front of the shooter. So the only thing I can think of when he shot this ball is he thought he had a screen, but it's just kind of a crazy shot. You know, it's not late in the shot clock. There's still 21 seconds. I think it's actually a terrible idea because there's 49 seconds left in this quarter, and he decides to step down and try to take this shot. So I'm going to let this run, and then we'll talk through it. But this is the craziest play of the entire game. So just kind of wild right there. So just to kind of talk through this, we got a 9-player screen to start this thing off. So the first things first here to think about, just a really bad decision, right? I'm going to say overall, you got 9 guys in front of you. Bad decision to shoot this ball. Bad decision to shoot it with the time on the shot clock. And definitely a bad decision to shoot it with the amount of time left in this first quarter. But after the shot is taken, right, reaction here, goalie goes to throw the ball. A couple things are happening right here. Turn and look. We got one player headed off the field. He's not even paying attention. We got one guy from the Redwoods who did a nice job of dropping, getting behind this offensive guy here. He would have had a fast break if this would have been a nice pass over the top, but a great job by this whip snake to ride the ball back. So this should give you guys an idea of what we're looking for all the time. You got to take pride in riding and going after that ball because the play is never done. So he does a great job. He rides this ball back. It's Drew Snyder. He steps in here to fire it. One more point, nothing wrong with shooting this ball and taking the shot. But if he looks up right here on this right wing, we got a guy ready to go, locked and loaded here in his left, and he's at about, 10 yards to be able to catch this ball and fire it. I think the right look here is to make one more, and then the next slide would have been coming off this crease, which would have opened up number 22 right here on the back door. So this play could have ended up a lot differently if he would have made the one more pass instead of firing this ball. But kind of unique, again, right here, Rambo ends up with this on a rebound, and I don't necessarily disagree with him taking the shot, but he doesn't have the best angle right now. And if you guys look down here at the shot or at the quarter clock, there's 40 seconds left, right? This is a prime opportunity for him. And you guys that play box understand this. Prime opportunity to pull this ball out for a reset and take the last shot of this quarter in a 1-1 championship game. But instead, he decides to pick it up, take a really bad low-angle shot, and ends up causing a turnover for his own team there. So, Coach, is there anything you want to add here? Go ahead.
Yeah, I got one thing. You notice there's three shots in that entire progression, and really none of the guys change levels on their shot, right? Maybe here with Schneider a little bit, but these guys, exactly where their stick was when they let it go was where that ball finished up, right? So they're not easy saves, right? But a lot easier for the goalie to be able to track that. If you have an awesome opportunity like Snyder here and then Rambo at the end, right? You got to at least make them work for it, right? Low to high, high to low, a little sidearm, change it up. Don't be as predictable as these three guys were in this sequence.
Coach Bice?
I don't have anything to add there. No, nice work, fellas.
All right. So moving on here, talking through again some more picks. This play wasn't too much farther afterwards. This is a nice they get a nice pick mismatch. And then this is a prime example of, again, going back to the call yesterday, Bice talks about defensemen moving out on the hands and how important that is. Got a little hurts in there. How important it is to get on hands and not to allow guys to feed. So if you watch right here, I'm going to let this run. Right, so nothing that crazy about this play. Watch this again. All right. But here's a couple of things I want you to think about now. Watch this play again. The guy with the ball is Matt Rambo, right? He's the best player on their team. The entire offense runs through him. What they're doing right here is they're taking a short stick down to the ball, and this forces this pole to switch off. Gets Rambo a short stick on him. When the short stick doesn't close the gap, that allows Rambo to have hands free and feed that ball. And if you notice too, how important it is to be moving on the backside here. Vice, is that you making all that noise?
No, I think it might be Jasinski.
Yeah,
Can you hear yours?
There we go. All right, so watch this again here as this unfolds. Right here, right? It's just a simple goal line extended pick. So we call this a big little. So we have a big, meaning the long pole that's on the ball, and we got a little, which is the short stick on the other defender. We set this pick goal line extended, creates a mismatch right here. The short stick has to switch, steps out, picks up Rambo. Rambo recognizes that he has a short stick. Rather than press this and get himself in trouble, simply steps away, resets, and then he looks to get into his offense from here. And the big part here is that because it's a short stick matchup, it makes this difficult. It's hard for this guy to get out and get on hands. And then the other player on the Whip Snakes team, they're going to keep their feet moving off ball. Rambo's got his eyes up. He's looking at the center of the field the entire time. This guy pulls into this little window of space over here. Real simple, catches that ball ready to go and fires it and puts that thing home. So it seems like a very simple little play there, but that's a little design play to get Rambo a short stick matchup. Great offense here. Everybody keeps their feet moving, rolling away. Create the separation, eyes up. Find the cutter, catch the ball ready to shoot, put it home. T, anything you want to add there?
I think part of that is just knowing the guys that you're playing with, right? I just knowing from playing against these guys, if Rambo gets a short stick, right, he knows what the defense is doing, right? We're coming to him, right? Because he's a legit player, and bat on average chance that he's going to be able to beat that matchup. And so from his standpoint, if he knows what the defense is trying to do, and guys on his team know that as well, they can move their feet, right? Because a lot of the defense is going to be looking at him, and that's where you see John Haas having some success there is him being able to move off the ball as the defense is so keyed in on that one-on-one matchup to be able to get to a good spot and finish that shot off. So knowing who you play with, right? If you have a guy on your team who's just an excellent dodger, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that when he gets the ball, right, you're out of the play. It's kind of the opposite, right? There's an opportunity for you there. So really take inventory of the guys that you're playing with and try and increase your lacrosse IQ to be able to play off of those guys as well.
The only thing I want to add there, Coach Kelly, is just, I love that Rambo's eyes, like you said, are always up. He never looks down. And whenever we train you, whenever we do a drill, we always are, we set up cones. And we always tell you guys, don't look down. Athletes never look down. And this is a great example of just watching, one of the best players in the world, create his matchups, going to score the first time, but his eyes are always up and he's looking through the defense. And so it's just a little thing for you guys to be a great lacrosse player on the offensive end. You always have to have your eyes up, and to be great on defense too. You can't look down, so make sure that you're taking inventory, whether you're on offense or defense, and you're reading the situations and you're looking for your teammates.
Great. So this next one here, guys, is just showing, again, a little pick play. I'm going to let it run, and then we'll talk through it here. So, again, same thing, Whip Snake setting a pick here, trying to create a mismatch. Boom. All right, so a couple things happen here. Watch this again. All right, again, seems simple. Seems like a simple offensive play, but this is a very well-placed, well-designed play to allow guys to work to their strengths. So, again, we're talking about creating this mismatch with the big little. So, again, a term you'll hear us say a lot. We're going to see a big little right here, right? So, or this might even be a little. Nope, there it is. So, big, right, defenseman with a pole on the ball, and a short stick here on Snyder, who's guarding 23. He's going to take his guy back, set this pick behind the goal, right? So it allows Rambo to go either way. When this pick is set right here, this defenseman is making a big mistake by not jumping out and attacking this. And when he doesn't close this gap and he sits here flat-footed back in the crease, that allows these guys to create a little chaos here on the crease, step into this little window, again, the same space where that other goal was given up, right? If you notice, they're pulling the defense up high, a lot of movement off ball, cutting in here. Rambo, the entire time, his eyes are up. This is probably a little design play that they have right here. Boom. And it all comes from that separation between himself and this defenseman that is here. And notice another important piece is as soon as Snyder, number 23, sets his pick, what's he do? Gets on his horse and he clears through and he mirrors opposite of Rambo. And that's what opens up the ability for this guy to catch the ball and put it home. So I'll show you guys that one more time. Again, seems like a very simple play. A lot of moving parts here, right? So he's drawing his man back to set this pick. Boom, pick is set. Gap isn't closed. Rambo's hands are free. Look at him right here. Eyes upfield, looking directly across the cage. Looking for a cutter. Finds him. Boom, back of the net.
Hey, Coach Kelly, one thing I want to add here real quick. We talked about Rambo's eyes being up the whole time, but another thing is just how quiet his stick is. He's on that loaded position, on that shoulder. He doesn't have any extra movement. You see him just sit the stick on his shoulder. The second his player becomes available, it's a quick flip and the ball's on target. You know, we talked to you guys a lot about having those extra cradles and those twirls. It's a perfect example. If he's got a little bit extra in his stick, that ball's not getting there on time.
And I think it's also really good. It's a great point, Coach. This is a really prime example of talking about how important it is right here. This window is so small for him to feed this player. This is a great look, but it has to be a great pass. So this pass has to be a perfect pass. And that's why we harp on you guys to focus on these little things. And you have to put this ball on the right side. If he would have thrown this pass to his left shoulder and this guy had to catch this across his body, that's not going to be a goal. He caught this with the ability to catch it loaded. Look at his feet right here. He catches this ball, feet set, stepping down, right? So it's just catch it loaded, boom, back of the net. So this is a great pass, and it's a great ability by this player to get his stick out, catch it loaded, boom, finding it home. So super important on both sides, just as important for the feeder as it is for the person who's popping for that pass to get himself in the right position. So we're going to fast forward here into the highlights of this game. I'm going to move forward. Sorry, I went a little too far. My notes are bad. All right, so on this one, this is just a really cool mirror play. Again, nothing crazy, not reinventing the wheel here. So what we call a mirror, you see these guys get set up right here. So this is Jay Carlson. He loves playing on the inside. He's got great hands, always loves to live and die on the crease. So you see him, he makes this little flash cut, and when he doesn't receive the ball, he's going to continue his momentum down on the right side of the cage, which is going to allow this guy to come around. And by Jay cutting through, he's going to take his defender with him, and that allows this player to come around. So we call this a mirror. So this is a simple mirror play where one guy goes one direction and the other guy goes the other. And that opens up all that space for that offensive player to come around from X and put that ball where he wants.
Yeah, Coach Kelly, another way for the kids to think about it is they're on a string together, right? As one guy moves, he's pulling the other guy around. And this is an IQ piece as well, because Coach Kelly said as 32 cuts through Carlson, he now becomes backup responsibility if the shot is missed. So you maintain possession.
But I want you guys to see this. This is a nifty little play here. So it just shows how crafty Jay is right here, number 32. So watch this. He's doing his part, and I say this all the time, is move with a purpose, right? Move with a purpose when you have a ball in your stick, and more importantly, when you don't have a ball in your stick. He could have made the same cut and just drifted through here, and he still would have been doing his job. But if you notice, when he sees a window and he makes eye contact, he's going to flash cut right here. So watch this little movement right here. So he steps away from his defender, stick up. If this guy had his eyes up, he actually could have fed Jay for an easy one on the inside, right? So that's just a little thing. That's a little pride factor about an attackman on the inside doing things with a purpose, right? So he flashes, he realizes it's not there. Perfect mirror, right? They're both on opposite sides at the exact same moment. And like Coach Bice says, if this shot misses the cage, Jay's the deepest man, which is going to allow him to back this shot up. All right, so just a nice little play there by the Whip Snakes. So nothing crazy. But again, very subtle, just a nice offensive set. Coach Tyler, you got anything?
Yeah, one thing I'll add is, adding on to everything that 32 is doing right, he sees, I think, that they've got a great matchup here, right? An offensive player stuck on defense against one of, their hot hands at the time, right? So instead of he could have gone and set a pick, but it would have been, a decently selfish play, right? He gets the switch and then he has the guy, right? Rather than, making it any more complicated than he needs to, he just gets out of the guy's way, right? He's on the string. He's the mirror, right? He's there if the guy needs him, but he's trusting his teammate, right? That he's going to beat that matchup, and he's giving him the space to do that. So very, the way I look at it is a selfless play on his part.
Good point. Good point. So the last one I have for you guys tonight is another little pick play here. And again, moving to space off ball. So again, movement on ball and then movement off ball. So we're going to let this one run through here. So again, nothing crazy, just creating a little mismatch, forcing the defense to talk. Again, every time you force the defense to talk, you're putting the pressure on them here. They get jammed up. They don't rotate appropriately, right? And this could have been changed, or this could have been avoided, like Coach Bice was saying earlier, if they were just to switch this. As this pick comes right here, I guess he does switch it. He decides to go. This defenseman decides to go. Probably didn't communicate and call that. This guy decides to stay on ball. This guy rolls away. Right? That's where this pass comes from. So a couple things are happening. One, bad communication right here. Number two, great little pick here to get this exchange. Three, he opens up facing the ball, and he's going to take about 2 steps back. Doesn't need to be much. He's going to take about 2 steps into this little gap here, which is going to give him enough separation to get it with his hands free, and a great little pass back. Boom. Right? Look at all that space that he has, right? So now he's stepping in. That's at about 15 yards. He's going to step in, boom, put that thing home at 12, right? Which, in this league is a great shot. For you guys, it's you step in maybe a yard or two before that, good things are going to happen here. Coaches, you got anything you want to add here?
Yeah, Coach Kelly, just you were talking about that pick, and that defender, he's playing it too soft by giving him that space, especially as a pull. We talked about jump switching, but you're going to switch anyways. You want to be aggressive and be on that offensive player's hands. So can you go back, Coach Kelly, like where you were before with that big gap that you're seeing? And all of you guys need to, whether you're an attack man, a midfielder, obviously you need to understand how to play defense. You're going to play defense at some point. Attack when you might get caught over on the defensive end, or you're going to ride every game, right? Okay, so we see how soft this is. You can pause it right there. Okay, as the defender, okay, yeah, we want to go out and play the ball early on the defensive end. We get beat early, but then also this defender right here, whose man is setting a pick. Once he realizes his man is setting a pick, he needs to engage and get up there and ready to step out on this switch rather than playing it too soft, because like Coach Kelly said, all they need is a little window. He's way too soft. He needs to be up. So when this switch does occur, he's all over the offensive player's hands, and he can't have that hands-free pass to the guy who's slipping into that little gap.
Yeah, guys, one thing, back to the offensive side, number 8, check out just how much of a box play this is, from his dodge to his hips to his stick work. He keeps it in his right the entire time, right? But he's protecting it all the way through the dodge. He flips his hips, gives a nice layoff pass to this guy. It's exactly some of the, mirrors some of the drills that we go through in box training too, right? So box, never stays box, right? It's very, it translates a lot to the field game as well, and is seen there in that dodge.
So one last point I wanted to make on this, right? Even pros, right? Nobody plays a perfect game. A couple more things could be happening off ball when I was watching this one. If you watch these two guys here, they're basically just watching this guy take the shot, which, if they knew he was going to shoot it, great. This guy clearly has a responsibility to back up the goal. But I would have loved to have seen him pull into this little window right here for one more pass if that was able to on the back door. And I would have loved to have seen this guy take 3 more steps upfield into this lane for this pass right here. So, if you watch this again, I want you to watch the off-ball guys, and they just kind of sit back and they're watching these two guys up top, right? They're flat-footed. If you watch both these guys, they're just standing and watching, right? We yell at you guys all the time. You got to move. You got to move. And the second your defenseman turns his head, where's this guy looking? He's looking up here. So the second he turns away, he should be stepping up into this window right here. The second this guy creeps upfield, he should be following and stepping into this window right here. But as you can see, boom, no one's moving. So all the defenders are moving, but the other offensive players are staying around watching. So this is one where, again, I'd love to see these guys stepping into these windows. And the second their defenseman leaves them, right now, right here, 48 should be stepping up. The guy in the goal line extended should be stepping up. And that, gives your guy with the ball some additional outlets. So some important things to keep in mind there. Did we get any questions during that, guys?
You got the chat. You got to open the chat screen, Anthony.
Yep. Let me stop sharing it. There we go. Nothing. So that was all the footage that I had for you guys as far as actual clips to go through for tonight. I thought there were some really good ones. One, it's a game that you guys probably watched. So at least some of you guys I know watched. And two, we're getting to watch some of the best players in the world. So I really like looking at those as examples for you guys to be able to pull. And that's as simple as just getting on YouTube and finding those clips, going back, taking the initiative to review it. But actually, instead of just watching a game and going, hey, that was a great goal, stop and look at and go, why did that goal happen? Where was the breakdown defensively? And then what were the guys doing off ball? Instead of just watching the guy who's carrying the ball at all times, you have to watch the entire field, right? Every set, you have 6 guys on O, and you got 7 guys on defense with a goalie, right? Each of those guys has an impact on what happens during that play. So make sure that you break it down, slow it down, watch each clip 4 or 5 times, and really make it make sense for yourself. Coach Bice, you got anything?
No, guys, just continue to watch film, continue to be a student. Obviously, with everything that's going on right now, we expect you guys to keep your sticks in your hand, keep your conditioning levels up, but watch film, get as much film in as you can. And just a reminder for you guys, we're going to be back on here tomorrow night. Coach Kelly and I are going to be breaking down. Coach Alexander is going to be joining us as well. We're going to be breaking down some box clips for you guys, which will be a lot of fun for us. And you heard Coach Pfister say there on that last one, there's a lot of box lacrosse principles that are being, that we're seeing and we're learning and we're watching on the field game as well.
Looks like we got Coach Jasinski late to the party there. Jack, you got anything you want to chime in for these boys?
Yeah. Sorry for late for the party. Trying to figure it out. Zoom, first time Zoomer here. But no, I would say definitely. I mean, the best thing you can do right now is keep that stick in your hand, and while you're stuck in this situation, it's not so much what everybody else is doing. Is what are you doing at home by yourself? I mean, you got plenty of time. You got a wall in your house. I know at least everybody's got at least one wall in their house. So keep that stick in your hand, and like Coach Bryce is saying, just be ready, for when this thing's over, and just keep going, guys.
Hey, one other point, guys. We're getting ready to post a video that we have of some different shooting stuff that we're going to be doing each week from our Resolute University. So get ready to take a peek on Instagram here shortly. We're going to post a video of Jack, Coach Jasinski, going through a little hitch here to kick things off, and we're going to keep building it up each week for some stuff for you guys to work on at home. So have some really cool clips coming your way here shortly. Coach P, you got anything?
Well, guys, just be safe. If you guys have any questions, hopefully you guys know where to reach us. If not, give your parents a shout, and they have our emails and things like that. So, we do have some extra time, guys. So if you need help with goals or anything like that, and specific training plans, let us be a resource for you guys there. If not, just continue to learn, man. We'll look forward to doing these weekly with you guys.
Sweet. And the last thing I had too is if there's something that you want us to cover, guys, offensively, defensively, or for box, shoot us an email, right? You can email any of us or, our general email. Send us an email, send us a note on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. If there's something you want us to go over, we'd love that. And, we'd love to have some video footage that we can actually use to show that in text and make it make sense for you guys. But appreciate you guys logging in tonight. Have a great night. And we will catch you guys tomorrow for the box session. Take care, everybody.